boom, 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 boom. Do 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 do. Going on a live streaming. Boot bap bap do it bap bap. Alright, let's get Restream chat open. Here we are once again, back at it. What's going on, Cameron Edwards? Whoa, this looks final. I'm working on it. I reworked the character design today. Tried to make it a little bit more streamlined. Just think I made it better in general. So now we're doing the animation portion. Am I drawing like Kim Jong-gi? Not at all today. So yeah, here's the animation not cleaned up, but so now we're just doing the cleanup pass. Let me just arrange my windows here. All right. We're gonna get some music going. Is that what we're gonna do? Let's do it. I'm not gonna worry about the hair too much right now. I'll rework the hair movements. Oops, still want to cut that. I have a really sweet animation idea for the locket thing. We'll talk about that in a second. What the hell am I gonna listen to today? Oh, I also got this noise suppressor on, so we don't have to hear background noise as much. Hopefully that works. Alright, yeah, and let me know if there's audio issues and stuff. Not trying to spoil you. I just enjoy doing the live streams. Do I like electronic music? Some of it. It's not always my favorite, but there's some of it that I really like. I'm drawing it at 24 frames, but I'm mostly doing it on 2s, so that means, yeah, it's not going to be 24 frames. It'll some of it will show at 12 frames per second. It's not such a sudden interest in storyboarding. It's something I've been throwing around for a while and just kind of decided to fully commit. Do I still dislike Coldplay? Yeah. If not, I'm sure you'll warm up to them soon. Well, I've disliked them since they came out, so I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Not sure when the next tutorial is, but I do have another video that's sort of similar to the last one coming up. I'm using TV Paint Pro, or the Pro version. I don't like to use the onion skin too much. I find that I don't really pay attention to where things are moving. What do I think is the best drawing program? Anyone that you are comfortable drawing in is the best drawing program. Yeah, I don't think it matters all that much. So whichever one you like using, could be Procreate, could be Photoshop. Would I move to Los Angeles if this got picked up as a show? I guess I would have to, but I doubt it's going to get picked up as a show. That'd be fucking crazy. But again, I don't think it would happen. After watching the documentary about Bjork, a dude who killed himself and tried to kill Bjork, I can't enjoy her music ever again. Oh, I wouldn't have to. There's Netflix offices in New York City. There we go. By the way, Daniel, I saw your animations. Very cool, man. The animation bug is getting all of us. Do you have tips on keeping the character model? Have very distinctive shapes that you use. Have a model sheet for yourself. That helps. I'm gonna hear some not metal today. Oh man, I'm glad I could inspire you to do the animations, man. No, they looked really great. I particularly liked the short guy with the pole there. That was really awesome. Let's listen to his Deftones. Yeah, I would love to see that, man. That would be super cool. Monkey Monk. There you go. Yeah, it's alright, Khalil. YouTube notifications are very strange. Ray Palpatine, yeah, there you go. Basically. Khalil, if you wouldn't mind, could you fill the chat in about, I guess, a few things about the software, about, I don't know if you, I think I explained the story to you a bunch of times. I just want to focus on the animating. I feel like last time I spoke too much. Hey, hey, what's going on? I was just looking at those books that you sent over there, Gordon. Yeah, if you want to hop on a Discord call. Hold on, I'll give you a call now. I might have to fix my audio, but here, I'll turn down the music.
Well, legit, didn't think you were going to call me straight away.
Hey, buddy. Alright, hold on, I just have to fix the audio so that they can hear you.
All good.
Alright, can you give me a test?
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Hey, there
testing.
we go, and I can hear you.
Cool.
It's magic.
Awesome.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm just I've been drawing most of the day, digging some animation stuff, doing some keyframes.
Cool. It seems like everybody's doing animation now. I love
You
it.
inspired me, dude.
Cool. I'm glad I could. I redid my character sheet, changed up the character. Now she's Rey from Star Wars, and so what?
I was going to say it's interesting because the story you had plotted out, I was like, it sounds really similar to Rey and BB-8.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep. I
that's-
realized it.
that's-
I realized that.
But then they've obviously they've stole stuff there. Like I'm not another.
It doesn't matter. It's not. I'm not planning on doing anything with this anyway, other than just
Nah.
having an animation to under my belt.
Alright, man.
I have
Oh,
the
cool.
next one planned, which I'm even more excited about.
Nice.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh, sorry.
I'm happy to add some backgrounds as well if you need them as well. So,
Cool. Yeah, I definitely will. I'm not ready just yet, but I will once I'm done. I want to play around with a couple of different styles of background.
cool, man. Cool. I found a really interesting tidbit because I was going through my sketchbook from Lightbox and I found like a page that Ahmed gave me of
Mhm.
like his sketches. And I noticed in the bottom right corner he wrote like, you know, sometimes he writes like total personal notes to himself.
Yeah.
So I found one of them. I was like, oh shit! I was like trying to like scribble it out. I was like, I must not know he gave it to me. He's like,
That's
because
awesome.
it was that Lightbox. He's like, do you just want to book at my page, page at my book? I was like, yeah, whatever. So I just took a random one. He must not realized there was stuff on it.
Yeah, probably not. Probably
Yeah,
not.
man.
What do we got as
Hello to
far as
everybody in,
questions going here?
Oh no, yeah, I was just going to say hello to everybody in chat and what's happening.
Gotta
Do
try
you want me
fix
just to
my
answer
audio.
these as you're just working and just like plow through them or ask you them if there's one specific to you or?
If you could repeat the questions and then we can talk through them, the answers to
Oh,
them.
I'm down for that.
That way I don't have to keep looking up. Oops.
Yeah, you just focus on your work. Plenty to do.
Hold on, let me see if there's a way I can turn you up, because I can barely hear you. Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay,
why.
yeah.
Yeah, I had my audio down on my computer, that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's no worries.
There we go. I was like, I can barely hear this dude. Okay, cool. We're good now.
Cool. How old is James? I think you're 20, 25, 26?
I am 28, actually.
Oh, okay.
Close enough.
It's fine, did it? I turn like 35 in like 2 weeks, so yeah. It's gonna be depressing.
No, don't be depressed. Don't worry about it.
Hey man, do you plan to clean up the animation yourself?
Yes.
I'm assuming that's a yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of what we're doing here. We're doing a first pass on the cleanup, and then I'll do probably a third pass. So we did the really, really rough animation. Now this is like the tie down stage, and then we'll do a super tight line stage.
Cool.
James is really quiet in comparison, FYI. All right, let me fix that. Let me fix it. I just put this like noise suppressor on, so I'm trying to deal with all these differences in the audio. Okay, how's that?
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool.
Um,
What age did I start drawing seriously? That would be 23, I think. 23, 24.
God, is that long ago? Jesus. I forget you spent like a year in your parents' basement, like just hardcore in it.
Yeah. I don't know if that was as effective as I would have liked it to have been. I was kind of like thinking that over the other day because a lot of students ask me about that kind of thing. I didn't really practice any fundamentals. I just kind of drew stuff. Maybe it was good. I don't know. Who knows? It's a very non-linear thing, learning to draw in general. It's like doesn't always progress linearly.
Raphael, yeah, man, I've seen your question. Yeah, I don't think James is looking for a critique at this moment. He'll probably wait till he's finished until he wants any feedback.
No. What's the
Yeah,
what's the critique?
Yeah. I think she was just asking if you wanted it, or he was asking if you wanted a critique, but I'm assuming the answer
I
is
mean,
no.
if there's something valuable, sure. What do we? Yeah, why not? Fuck it. I generally like to usually, like, sort of the way I work is I'll just do something and then afterwards try to critique it and figure it out. But you know, why not figure it out while we're here? Especially since it's like a larger thing. It's not like one draw. If it was one drawing and then that was it, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you also because you're so open to your process. Like sometimes you're not ready for a critique. Like you're too deep in the ideation. You don't actually want feedback. You just because it's not finished yet, right? It's not presentable. But because you're presenting at like every stage, it feels like people are always like, "Oh, fix this," but then you're going to fix it. Like there's holes in the animation or there's stuff that's not quite right. Yeah.
That always happens.
What do you think about Blender for 2D animation since you can write character just like Mohawk and Boom? Yeah, I haven't used it much. I don't know if you have.
I'm sure it's good. I never really used it.
Yeah,
Daniel,
I know grease
oh, sorry.
pencils you can use and stuff, but
Daniel Landerman says crits aren't always helpful mid-project. Yeah, the way I kind of think about it is like imagining having somebody sitting over your shoulder being like, "Hey, fix that, fix that." It's not, or
yeah,
like or if you're learning to drive, and then your parents like, like turn left, turn left. It's
yeah,
kind of that thing. So usually the way I go about it is like, I'll be really, really like overly critical afterwards, and try to figure out what needs to be better, what I could work on.
yeah. I remember I was watching a documentary. It was Tim Schafer when he was making the Double Fine game, Broken Age, and like the first time he came like from sitting with his notebook writing stuff, he had like an initial meeting, and one of the guys that worked for him at the time, like once he told him the idea, like he tore it to shreds. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is wrong, and you should maybe change this." But it was like, I just wanted, initial feedback. I didn't want people to like, pick apart every single little thing. Because like I was saying, like there's some points when you're doing stuff like you don't really want feedback. You just want like a general, does this look okay or does this feel okay? You didn't want people
Yeah.
to be like, oh yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that sometimes things need to go through those, like you said, those early stages.
have you ever worked for a studio for animation or concept art? I've done
Nope.
some studio work, but James is Mr. Freelance at the moment. He's working for himself. So yeah. Coolum 23. Hopefully, I can get to your level of perspective and line work at your current age. Yeah, man. Just practice.
Or don't,
It's the best thing. Oh yeah, well, yeah. There's that as
and
well.
hope for the best. I like that strategy. It's like, yeah, fuck it. We'll just see what
Yeah.
happens. We don't need better artists out there. I'm personally trying to get everybody to be worse. That way there's less competition.
Maple. Yeah, I have seen Maciej Kutiara's new animation. It's epic as fuck. It's really, really good. I don't know if James has seen it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Really good. Really well done. That's dedication as well because Maciej was like he was head down for like I think the better part of a year making that. So yeah, on top of doing freelance work and everything else and Art Cafe and stuff. So yeah, putting more focusing on painting more than he does. Yeah, you've really got to find your path. I think, Sabian. Like, I think the one thing about this industry, I say to a lot of students, is that you have to also find what you don't like, because so much time can be spent, thinking about it. But then I think unless you physically do it and then decide you don't like it, then it's you'll maybe be caught in limbo for a while. But I think James has got the determination we all want, but a few of us have, where you just fire into stuff head first and think fuck it. So yeah.
You just got to be fired up.
Um,
I'm making the next YouTube video is going to be on motivation and that sort of stuff,
yeah.
where I reveal
I think
the darkest secrets of my motivation.
I think it's a common trap for a lot of students as well that I definitely fell in, where you get caught in the research loop, where you constantly try to find the best book or the best Gumroad or course, and then you collect like a whole like stack of courses and tutorials that you never work through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It's like,
You could probably
yeah,
just save all the money. I'm being a hypocrite here because I have a bunch of Gumroad videos myself that I look at. But you could probably do the equivalent with just like one series or one video. You don't need 100 videos.
oh yeah. Like even just sitting down with like a Bridgman or Loomis book or Scott Robertson stuff, like it's more than enough to get you to a point where you can probably work.
I like Koala Bear. Do the thing, James 2020. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
But it's like Casey Neistat, right? That's been his whole philosophy in filmmaking. Like he's got that tattoo on his arm that says "Just do it."
There you go.
Do a sketch for the motivation vid. I'm assuming he's probably going to already do something like that. So
I'm probably just going to use footage from this, so so
there
technically
you go.
there will be sketches.
Just about to ask that. Do you mind sharing what you did to keep yourself motivated on the grind?
I think I have a really unhealthy form of motivation. So I'm a little embarrassed about it, but I think there's there's also some good in it. I'm a very like, I don't know, like somewhat negative, but also somewhat positive. Negative in the sense that I'm like, I feel like anybody that's ever told me, "Oh, you can't do this," or "Oh, you won't be able to do it," I'm just like, "Well, fuck them. I'm gonna prove them wrong." And so anytime I get like hate comments or even like friends, family, etc., I'm just like, "Well, I'll show them," sort of thing. So it's a little bit unhealthy in that regard, which I'm kind of embarrassed about. But I think
No, when
also,
it says, yeah, I was gonna say I think it's unhealthy. I think it's good that you want to prove people who try to disprove your stuff wrong. I think that's a good thing to have.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, for anybody's asking the last couple of minutes, the animation is TV Paint that James is using. What question do you both have that you can't stand answering anymore? What, what brush is that?
Is the brush? Yeah, it's usually the brush question, just because, or it's not even the question necessarily. It's more. Sometimes people get very insistent about things like the brushes. Like I think last time there was somebody who was very insistent about me putting out the brush pack, and I told him that it would be really disingenuous to do that because it's just the hard round, and it's not really fair to make people pay for something that they already get for free.
Yeah, it's either brushes, programs, tutorials. I think that's also a trap a lot of students fall into where they can't do their own research sometimes on the subject, where they want like all the answers straight away. I mean, there was like half the comments used to get, like, even a couple of months ago when you were streaming, we were doing questions, and it was like, "Can you explain your whole learning process in 5 minutes?" Like, through one question, I was like, yeah. People want you to divulge your secrets in like, one comment. It's almost impossible to do. You're like, I've got about 30 videos on YouTube. Just start digging through them. Just
Yeah,
go.
I guess that's it. It's like a lot. I get a lot of questions for tips and stuff, and it's like I thought I did that already. I thought I gave the tips. That was kind of the whole point of the YouTube channel.
But yeah, like, you're on my YouTube, right? You can click the links. They're working, right?
But it's fine. Everybody's coming from a different point, you know? It's
Yeah.
like if you just started yesterday, I have no, just because I'm hearing it over and over again, like I have no idea
Yeah.
where these people are coming from, so it's not something to get too
I think it
butthurt
was
over.
was it the guitarist from Van Halen or some old 80s metal band, but like he used to get the same question about like his pickups and his guitar like every single interview, but he like loved it because he's always like, yeah, the person asking me, it's like the 100th person that's asked me, but then for them it's the first time hearing it, so I can't really like hate on people. But then if you're
Yeah.
asking specifically like what question is overplayed, then we've got to answer it. Then that's the question. So
I do wish more people asked me about metal, but it's fine.
oh, yeah, same here. Yeah, for everyone asking, my name is Gordon Neal. I'm a digital artcast in the chat. I have a podcast. I interviewed James about 3 years back now. He came on, talked to me. You can check me out if you click my name. Question: why he approaches digital media the same as traditional, uses the same technique, and doesn't treat one another differently? Assuming, why do you draw like you're drawing on paper? But then I think
That's what you want to do. I don't know.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what the answer to that question is.
You want to start traditionally and then build into digital skills, but yeah, like the process of drawing and sketching with your hand doesn't change on the medium. It's
Yeah,
the
it
same
doesn't
thing.
make a difference. Have I heard of the Japanese metal group Baby Metal? Of course. Of
Oh yeah,
course.
man. Oh, Crystal Lake just put out some new stuff. It's really good.
I actually don't know them.
Oh man, they're like one of the best. They're like metalcore from Tokyo, but they're like a harder version of Parkway Drive.
Oh, okay,
Really
cool.
good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. I appreciate the efforts you've been putting on keeping your interest in animation while sharing your time with us and the constant streams. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
Just been streaming
thanks,
like crazy.
Maxwell. Yeah, man. What else we got? Hey, Kim Jong Ji, what brushes are you using? Oh yeah, I know. He was referencing how Kim like also hates that question. Like he constantly gets asked like what his brush pen is.
Are
And
we talking about that asshole that draws on walls again? That piece of shit. That motherfucker.
I actually got to see the mural at Riot Games that he done by hand. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 20 foot high. It's
That's
like
really
50
rude of
foot
him
long.
to just show up and graffiti their studio. How fucked up is that?
No, I
I'm gonna start YouTube beef with Kim Jong Gi.
Yeah.
It's gonna be multilingual YouTube beef.
I was gonna say it probably actually would work, but yeah.
Yeah. Favorite metal band? Meshuggah for sure, and then followed by Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, Dillinger, man. Back in the day.
Dillinger are the best. Why there be gerbils in the stream? Well, my guinea pig is screaming in the background. He's always screaming. I fed him so much, and he's still begging for more food. It's crazy.
Ali, I was answering his question. I didn't ask that. Oh, okay, yeah, I have no idea what's happening in chat. I'm trying to keep ahead of it, so. Cold Rain also. Oh yeah, Cold Rain are cool. They're a good band. I downloaded every good artist brush and program. I could finally travel to other dimensions and go back in time. Don't lie to us, James.
What is the number in the bottom left corner next to the YouTube logo? I guess that's the viewer count. I didn't realize that was on there. That's the YouTube viewer count.
Yeah. Yeah, again, software's TD Paint. But you can use anything really. I mean, you could do it in Photoshop if you really needed to. There's Storyboard Pro, there's Toon Boom. There's a few programs. Any gerbils with top hats and little tiny monocles? I have no idea what that means. I'm assuming you're talking about James's gerbil, but Kwai Bear, haven't asked much in a while, but any tips for moving from hard surface forms and how to draw to more complex organic rotations like the ones you tackle in anatomy videos is hard to check.
It's gonna sound really silly, but just draw in 2D shapes and then just see what happens. So like I make my students do that, where I just force them to draw, like imagine drawing the body but you just use rectangles or you just use triangles. Then the other thing is I make people scribble a lot and just see what the hell happens. I do a lot of exercises like that start to train your brain to, or if you just like go out and life draw but you use the pen, you're kind of forced to draw things in shapes rather than using construction and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, also Wang. Yeah, the interview was from 2018, so it's technically 2 years.
You're trolling them.
Terrible. I actually thought it was longer, but I think we were talking beforehand before we interviewed each
I thought
other.
it was 2018. If it was 2018,
Yeah.
that would be that is actually 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If I can do math correctly.
I know. I lose all track of time at one point. Do you like Rage Against the Machine? Hell yeah.
Yeah, of course, Rage Against the Machine is awesome.
Yeah, man. OG.
I love the sound of like clicking back and forth. I don't know why it's so amusing to me, but I feel like I'm playing StarCraft. That makes me very happy.
Oh yeah, because of like the feedback loop, I can't actually listen to what you're listening to music wise. So I'm always like, when you're bobbing your head, I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's listening to.
Yep. Koala Bear says, so it's like learning construction, then kind of unlearning it back to shapes. That's exactly what it is. I would really consider it, yeah, the process of unlearning fundamentals. And that's true of any art form. It's the same with music. When you learn scales and music theory, you have to then go and kind of unlearn that, because what ends up happening is all your ideas are based around just basic scales, and then you stop thinking about the emotions and like the interesting qualities to music. So it is the process of like learn the fundamentals, unlearn them, and then go on from there.
Yeah, it's even when you start to move into stylized stuff as well, like to know how to do that stylized push, you have to learn fundamentals at its core, and then you can break those rules to accentuate or exaggerate those proportions.
Exactly.
The same kind of understanding, so yeah. been starting to do that. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be ditching construction. Question why? I mean, things like inking and the painting strokes, how do you make them in digital look the same as traditional? You're probably paying attention to this kind of scratchiness that James has with some of the drawing. That just comes with line work when you're trying to find shapes, but you'll find once the clean lines come in,
Yeah, what
it'll
was the
look more
question?
digital.
I missed it.
He was asking how you get what you're drawn to look like a traditional sketch in a
Oh,
sketchbook.
yeah. It's because I'm drawing it like I would draw it on paper.
Yeah.
That's just it. I just use the same techniques. Because if you line work is something that takes a really long time to get used to. I'll give a quick demonstration. There's like I'll call this the digital line is everything is perfect and super crisp. Then there's the chicken scratch line, which is the line you don't want to go for, and then there's the smooth flowing line, and that's kind of the one I'm going for. Is that the third one on there. So if you chicken scratch everything, it's like you're being very indecisive. This one, in my opinion, can look too clean, and then if you have long flowing brush strokes, then it feels traditional and feels like it's got decisiveness. And that's really just it. Is generally I'm, at least when I'm doing this part, as opposed to like the loose underdrawing, I'm being a little bit more decisive about the shapes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Massimo was also asking, you should make a soundtrack, like your own soundtracks for your tutorials, since you can play guitar.
I would like to do that. It's more just a time thing.
Yeah.
But I would like to do that. I was considering doing it when I first started, and I think I have used a couple of my tunes on some of the track or some of the videos. But it's more just a pain in the ass to keep doing that. Kind of had to prioritize one over the other.
Haven, yeah. You can just Google TV Paint. You'll find the website, or the pricing should be on there. But you can also look into Toon Boom because I know they have like student pricing, and also they can do like a monthly thing where you can pay per month. It might work a bit cheaper if you don't want to commit like like $1,000. Yusuf, tablet are using. James is using a Cintiq at the
No, I'm
moment.
not.
Oh,
You're
switch up.
wrong. It's the Huion Canvas GT221 Pro.
No, there you go.
Gotta use those Chinese competitors to bring down the Western economy.
You were using Cintiq at one point, though, right?
Not since you've known me. I
Ah,
had
okay.
one when
Interesting.
I was before I started it, before I started the YouTube channel. Then I sold it and bought a computer and all the camera equipment that I needed to start the channel. So
Right.
if I had kept that Cintiq, I might not have started the YouTube channel.
Mm. Yeah, I think because I just saw a glass screen, I assumed
You
it was
just
the.
assumed, but the Huion
It
is a
was the
great
same.
competitor and is great at destroying the US economy. So
I was going to say you'd be in a unique position where you've used both, and you feel like the Huion is better or just as good, or.
they just send them to me, so I just use that one. They keep
Nice
forgetting
man.
that they sent me a tablet already, so
Oh, okay, makes sense.
I
Yeah,
use whatever comes to me.
I need to invest in one at one point. I'm thinking because my birthday's coming up soon, I might try and splurge a bit of cash and
Yeah, it's not a
grab
bad.
one.
It's not bad. I like it.
Yeah, man. Well, there you go. Callie was straight in there with the making model. Thank God you're here. I see some animators lead the characters turn with the eyes. Where their eyes look to the left per se, then their head turns. It makes it look natural.
Oh, that's a good point. I should. You know what
Yeah.
I'll do since I have a frame in between here? I'll have the eyes move. Oops. And then oops. Why is it? Oh yeah, there we go. So I'll do in this intermediate frame. I'll have the eyes move, and then she'll turn her head. Right, because if you look down here, I have a lot of frames, so I will definitely do that. The other thing I was doing is blinking in between turning, as opposed to just turning your head. But yeah, if you blink in between, that helps as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if James watches Meat Canyon. No, I don't know what that is. Never heard of it.
Meat Canyon.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You heard of it?
No.
Your tone of voice says you haven't.
Mm. Besides the fundamentals, what do you think are the most important things to learn when learning how to draw characters?
I guess I don't know. I think perspective helps everything, so I'm gonna go with that. Just because you can understand how to rotate cylinders and that sort of thing. I think that's so important.
Yeah, I think perspective, anatomy, and then actually expressions would be a good thing to learn as well, like acting if you're going to do
Just learn
character
all of it,
design.
you know. Just learn all of it.
There's so much, because then even if you're going to paint your characters, you'll have to know how to paint, color, comp, light, like there's all that stuff as well. There's a really good artist on YouTube, Mohammed. I can't remember his second name. Do you know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know him.
Yeah, he just done a video on like the breakdown of the basics. Like if you had to start all over again, how you would approach it. It was actually really, really good.
Oh, cool. I think his name is Mohammed. It's A.G. Agbadi or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
try and
he's
find
awesome.
him. Let's have a look. Yeah, Mohammed Agbadi.
That's what. Yeah,
I think that,
that's what I said, Gordon.
I'll just link one of his videos in the chat so you guys can check him out. But yeah, he's got a lot of really good stuff for beginners. He done like a big slide, like how, and he broke down like each individual discipline and all the things you learn within it. So it's a good reference if you guys are looking for some stuff like that. Huon sending James tablets. Next stream is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Have they ever approached you? Because they seem to be hitting everybody up.
No, I have a guy that what's the word I'm looking for? A manager dude who helps me with all those things. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't approached me. I rarely approach the sponsors. Sometimes if there's a sponsor I really like, I'll reach out to them. That hasn't worked yet. I was talking to Dollar Shave Club, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do something with them because I'm bearded, and that seems to be something that comes up a lot. Like my channel seems to freak out every time I shave, and they seemed all about it, but they never. Like we had a whole email conversation, and then it just fell through for whatever reason. Maybe I should just harass them.
James, bro, it looks like you're trying to do too much with each frame at once. You're missing out on a lot of potential overlapping movement with the hair and clothes.
I'm not moving the clothing, really.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of this is the keyframe stuff, so a lot of the in-between extra stuff hasn't even been put in yet, so yeah. Question, are you going to make animation Gumroads lessons in the future?
I could do that.
Yeah, man. I think actually one of the major things I've wanted from you the last couple of years is like how you break down information in study, because I think you're very good at it. I think that would be key for a lot of students, because I think it's not only what to study, but then essentially how to study things is also like an entire thing in its own.
I try to do that. I tried to do that with the last video. But maybe I got to do it more. I don't know. I'm trying.
Breakdowns and keys, which should be pretty much finished.
The hair stuff, in reference to things moving, I'm going to do the hair on a different layer. So if it's moving weirdly, I didn't mean to move it. It'll I'll do it on another layer so that there's like a little bit of follow through with it. And then like what Gordon said, I'm doing the keyframes. But yeah, I see what, like there's a little bit of movement. So I just got to fix that, and maybe
I was going to say typically when you do the animations, you would leave a lot of the cloth fabric stuff here to like the end, because then that comes in like an almost effects layer.
I think they might be talking about the fact that since there's a little bit of jitter going on, if that's what they're talking about, then I'll clean that up.
Please bring Marshall to the podcast. Marshall, who? I have
Fandrift.
no idea.
We had one
Oh,
planned.
okay.
It just fell through because it was planned for right when I was moving back to New York. But we'll
Oh,
do
okay.
it at some point. And I was supposed to go and do the Draftman podcast at some point.
Oh yeah, good podcast. Manga Materials is an amazing channel for dynamic sketching and anatomy tips. The videos feel like an expression and supplement to the anatomy videos James has on his Gumroad. Yeah, I've heard of that channel. I've never actually checked it out.
I think I've looked at
pin
it
that
recently.
further. Is it good?
If it is the one I'm thinking of, it's awesome.
Okay.
If it's not
okay,
the one
I see
I'm
it.
thinking of, I have no comment.
Okay, this is the guy. He works in Tokyo. He works as an actual animator on some anime stuff. Oh, his stuff is really good. Wow. Okay, awesome. Subscribed. Watch him later. I was even watching that thing I sent you where the Game Grumps were breaking down like some of their best fan
I
animations.
didn't get to check that out yet, but I saw that. I saw the
But
message.
some of the guys on that, some of the animators were like, are so good. Like even some of the people who were doing fan animations for them were like people who work in the industry. There was one girl who done all the animation and design for Undertale.
Oh,
She'd done a
cool.
couple of fan animations for them. It was pretty epic. And they all have YouTube channels, so I've subscribed to most of them. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
You'll have to
man.
look at that after.
How do you become persistent? Sorry, how do you become consistent at drawing the same subject in different poses without reference?
You draw the same thing over and over again.
Muscle memory, dude.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. I think I kind of liken it to like certain guitarists will have like little licks and riffs that they'll go to over and over again. It's kind of the same idea where artists will develop like a repertoire of notes that they play.
Yeah, man. I think there's a tendency to use or not use reference. Sorry, like reference is the devil, but like
No, it's not.
every artist, yeah, like it's a main staple for nearly everybody who works in this industry to use reference. It's one of the key elements to being good at what you do.
Do you mean the YouTube industry? I bet you Logan Paul uses a lot of reference.
Oh God, yeah.
Sorry, I'm big an ass.
Somebody's saying that they're saying hello from Russia. Thanks for all your tutorials. They really helped me. James, have a nice stream. Omar, truth is some people are just better at learning because of their big brains, not a race, my friend.
It looks like you're making things harder on yourself by trying to do every element of the pose at once. Like you do, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right about that. I could do that. Oops.
Oh yeah. I get what you're saying now.
So like
yeah.
go through and just look at the eyes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've seen some key poses in animation where it's literally just like the head, two arms, and a pair of eyes. Like the whole in between is like the biggest part, but a lot of the stuff is just basic like anatomy and direction. I think it's the illustrator in James that's coming out. He's wanting to make things look sharp and cool. Not sure what I frowned upon. Can't draw something if you don't know what it looks like. Yeah, Qual, it's one thing that students like for some reason seem to hate on people like if they use 3D or reference or anything really that isn't just drawing it straight from your brain. They get ridiculed because they think it's not proper art, but they forget they're drawing in a package called Photoshop. So it's always interesting when people throw hate on people. I remember one of my friends, Suzanne, like years ago, she broke down one of her paintings and showed how she used 3D for the base before she painted over it. And it was on Twitter, and people just like absolutely ridiculed her. But it was so ridiculous.
And she
because then
deserved it.
painting was.
And she deserved it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Never.
She's fine.
Never.
Nobody
Yeah.
deserves to be Twitter mobbed. So we should just stop
Yeah.
doing that as a species of people.
Blaine, yes, you're exactly right. If you're not using reference, then you're not learning.
Is there a dual stream happening here? Yes, that is what's going on.
Yes. One of my art teachers always laughed at us and said that, when Leonardo painted or Da Vinci, sorry, painted the Mona Lisa, there was somebody sitting in front of him.
That's
And
a good
people,
point, though.
yeah, yeah, it's a solid point. Uh, did you ever hear the story about Da Vinci and when he painted the Last Supper painting? Like the weird story about how he painted Judas and Jesus?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so Da Vinci, I think he took a couple of years, almost 10 years, to paint the Last Supper painting. You know, Jesus having the Last Supper with his disciples. And the first person he painted was Jesus, like right in the middle. So he got at the time in Italy or for France, wherever he was at the time, he got like a kind of male model at that time, somebody with like long blonde hair and was really pretty and a nice white robe. And then he sat for the painting and he painted Jesus in the middle of the painting. And then over the years, he added, you know, like Mary and all the other disciples and all the background stuff. And then the last person he painted was Judas. And like right at the end of the 10 years, he to paint Judas, he tried to find like a criminal, like someone like really disheveled and like dark hair and like baggy clothes and like just a terrible person. And so he went to a local jail and he found this guy who was like in for like vagrancy. He was all, you know, disheveled and had dirt all over him and dark hair. And he got him to sit for the painting back in his apartment. And he was like halfway painting Judas, and then the guy said to him, Mr. Da Vinci, don't you recognize me? And he was like, what? He was like, oh, I posed 10 years ago for Jesus. And I was like, oh,
That's fucking
fuck.
awesome.
Such a crazy story, man.
That's so sick.
Yeah. Totally gives you like chills when you hear it at the end. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's what. Yeah, that was an interesting story. It's actually funny when you look through a lot of Da Vinci sketchbooks. Like the guy was just, oh my God, so on point when he used to design and create stuff. Like the original industrial designer.
The original mech artist.
Yes. I think I sent that to you, right? Have you heard of that book that's called Nothing But Mech?
Yeah. I have that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Otku, I'm struggling with running poses from imagination. I practiced a lot, but I do not see any progress. Any advice?
Well, hold on. I'll answer that in just a second. I'm trying to.
Cool.
By the way, I just wanted to point out. I'm going to try to take the advice that Ben was suggesting, which is going through and like just focusing on one element at a time. I think that's what you meant, right? Like go through and just focus on doing the eyes, as opposed to doing all of the pose. I will do that. Seems like a smart way to do it. And then I'm struggling with running poses from imagination. I practice a lot, but I don't see any progress. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and it's not getting better, try something drastically different. So if you're trying to like construct it, try just drawing it without constructions. Maybe try scribbling it first and see what happens.
Also notice in that sentence, you also said without reference. So I mean,
Oh yeah, I missed that part.
yeah, I would try and use reference. It will help you.
How do I become Scottish like you? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
You be born in Scotland. That's how you be more Scottish. I mean, James is technically like, you know, a distant cousin because he's half
there we
Irish.
go. I'm a
So
Murphy.
yeah. Yeah, Ben was saying exactly the illustrator mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make every frame a finished drawing, really, but it's
Very
hard in
good
animation because
point. I get it.
yeah,
I
it's
get
not a
it.
bad thing.
I'm wrong. I know. I know.
He had a rough time of himself actually when he was painting cherubs. He was told that the divine imagery couldn't be referenced from real life, but he painted the wings based on birds in the garden anyway. Oh, Da Vinci, okay. Yeah, I don't know a ton about his artistic time, but I think every time I dive in and find out more about him, I'm really amazed about how incredible he was. There was a really good story as well where he was sitting at a cafe in Paris, and this was at a point where like people knew who he was. He was quite famous, and somebody asked him to draw something on a piece of paper in a cafe, and then he was like, okay, yeah, but I charge. And he was like, oh, that's fine. So he drew this like 30-second sketch, and then I think he charged the guy, like, say in real world terms, he wanted like like £200 or $200. And the guy was like, oh, that's ridiculous. That took you 30 seconds to sketch. And then Da Vinci's response was, it took me 30 years to learn how to draw that in 30 seconds.
Wait, wasn't that Picasso? I don't know who
Oh,
that
it might have
was.
been. It might have been Da Vinci or Picasso, one of them.
I feel like Da Vinci was less of a dick than that.
Yeah, but I think what he was trying to prove was that, people think when you draw things quickly or you have it down that, your time isn't worth the same, but then it's took you so long to master those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I get a channel manager? Well, it's like a very loose relationship. It's not anything crazy. It's just he just searches for services, or like people that are looking for whatchamacallit, companies that are looking for YouTubers and influencers to make ads or to do integrations for them. Actually, I don't know, Gordon, if you're familiar with Jared Deans. He's like a metal guitarist guy, or actually the guitarist from Trivium as well.
Yeah.
We have the same manager dude. And
Okay.
he's just he's like affiliated with the music scene, so I like him.
Wait, hold up a second. Jared Deans is playing with Trivium, did you say?
No, it's a different guy. I'm saying the guitarist from Trivium has a YouTube channel, as well as Jared Deans.
Oh, okay, right. I was confused. I was like, whoa, that was a big step up from YouTuber to
imagine
the Trivium. Yeah. Yeah, I also know that if you wanted to start your podcast up again, because I use the platform Anchor, and Anchor have a system where once you put your podcast up, if it gets enough views, they'll automatically find affiliates for you and attach them to your podcast, and then just generate money and send it to you.
Is it like the thing, like, because if you see my integrations, you know how they're like, I have to do the read for them and everything?
No, so
like
they automatically
kind of thing?
post in. They just like cut your podcast up basically and put the advert in, and then they just send you money if there's an ad read on it. Yeah, it's pretty good. But it's only available right now in the US, so you would profit from it, whereas I can't at the moment. So, which sucks. Never mind. Yeah, that was Picasso. Omar was saying. So yeah, I knew it was one of them. When people discovered perspective, it revolutionized art. You think there are other things that we don't know and will revolutionize art? Yeah, I think the whole painting in VR thing and drawing in VR is going to be like a weird step into a new, way of doing art. I'm actually trying to remember who discovered perspective. James may actually be able to tell you that.
I don't know exactly who, but I don't think it was a singular person. There's a lot of the artist Raymond Alexander Hurtado. He puts up a lot of images from the 1600s, or just that show all that like geek construction that you see. It's all from that era. It's so crazy to see. There's like a bunch of drawings from the painter Albrecht Dürer, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think VR is definitely going to change the way we look at art. When people draw as well, it's like because you're stepping into the fourth dimension almost.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Almost. It'll be a tesseract. Even if you don't know how to draw realism, you're still going to have to learn to stylize shit. Exactly, alongside the Scott Rosen books and recommendation for organic forms of Scottish. Yeah, Massimo, if you join James's Discord, there's a whole slew of people that can help you with learning. That community is very active, and very welcoming.
Not me. I'm not
Yeah, James isn't
anybody. I'm very aggro.
Yeah, he's an asshole, but his students are cool.
Last time you were here, we were talking about Proko doing a question mark kick to your temple in the UFC fight.
Oh, God,
how's it coming along? I don't know, man. He hasn't gotten back to me about the UFC fight.
Yeah,
I've been trying to stoke the flames for a while, but he hasn't been responding. I actually do have his number, so I could text him, but I'm not gonna actually do that. I don't really want to fight him. It would be really funny though, and it'd probably get a lot of YouTube views if that was our our main goal in life.
Wouldn't VR art be like sculptures but with less rules? Kind of. You can sculpt in VR, but there is a whole like Medium and stuff is for sculpting, but there is stuff that like the Facebook app, I forget what it's called, but yeah, you can basically draw in 2D also, and then spin your drawings around into 3D forms. So it's a good tool if you want to explore that side of maybe even animation. I know that Goro Fujita was making like these kind of 30-second animations every day on
You
his
think
lunch break.
Proco would?
And
Hold on, we got to deal with this. Somebody says they think
okay,
Proco would win. Listen, I've been training every day for this Proco fight, so I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. He might not be getting ready, but I've been preparing.
there's a side to James you don't see. That,
Yeah. I'm
only
gonna
the
make one
select
of
few do.
those Jake Paul documentaries where it's like me getting ready to fight. Ooh, Zoe says you're ugly. Thank you.
I tell James that every morning just to keep him humble.
Appreciated.
The Scottish guy really brings out the violence in Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, man.
It's our Celtic roots.
You can do things in VR that aren't possible in real life. Soon we might see paintings in hyperbolic or spherical space. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoe, that person might want to get banned or something. I don't know if they're
It's
just
okay.
flailing abuse. I don't know. Yeah. He's probably ripped underneath his dress shirt. Yeah, James is a beast, man. Wait till he takes off that t-shirt. He got abs for days. Pencil fencing. It's not even a thing.
Are you only focusing on 2D? Yeah, pretty much.
I think there's too much choice paralysis at this point. Like I know, when even people I know who were studying 3D, like there's so many programs. It's almost like it just cripples you because there's so much to learn. But then, yeah, 2D is almost the same as well because people who do 2D are like, oh yeah, you need to use photo bashing or 3D for reference. But then I think me and James are on the path where we're like, we just want to draw.
Yeah. It's not Zelda, but it is pretty close, I guess. Here I have the character design that I did. The facial features kind of look like Zelda though, so I could see why that's a similar thing.
I would actually say she looks like Ray, less
Yeah,
Zelda.
it's kind of a combination of Ray, Wraith from Apex Legends, and there was another character in there, but I forget. Oh yeah, Katara from Avatar. So it's just I just kind of combined all those three.
Oh, nice. I'm sure James is secretly ripped as well. Rip off that t-shirt, James. Let's see the guns, buddy.
Just wait. The last guy in the art community to be ripping off his shirt was Noah Bradley, so maybe that's not such a good move. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it's a dangerous topic of conversation.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. I'm just saying.
I mean, in essence, Morty, I would say that you're right. 2D is, I wouldn't say easier, but maybe less complex because, yeah, you can focus on pen and pencil for a long time before you have to get technical. But 3D, obviously, you have to learn the program like straight away. So, but then 3D itself isn't really as even like more complex than 2D. Like, I think I learned how to model things basically in within about 6 months to a year. The same as kind of what I would do if I was studying drawing. So I think anything is, you can accomplish anything learning wise as long as you put your mind to it. So is her name Forearms? What?
Speaking of the Paul brothers, have you been on Twitter the last couple hours? I don't really. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it at all. What's going on? What's going on over there?
Yeah,
in the
Anything the Paul
Twitterverse.
brothers are doing is not going to be positive.
No, probably not.
Although somebody was telling me that no, Jake, the younger one, the older one, Logan, like apparently he's trying to turn a new leaf. Like he's doing things a bit more sane, and he's actually been like hating on his brother, like spouting, saying like, he thinks his brother's being an idiot and doing dumb things and really should stop. So I don't know if like he's trying to maybe make amends for
That's
the last
good.
couple of years. Many of my 3D animation friends say that you spend most of your time fixing technical software related stuff, while in 2D animation you're only really limited by your drawing skills. Essentially, when I studied 3D animation, Maya was what I used. But once you have your pivot points and stuff for your articulation, it's really just moving things. It's almost like stop motion. You're just moving things frame by frame, and then eventually you have an animation. So yeah, Maya was pretty solid. I didn't have many issues. I think Maya is probably only the one of the softwares for 3D animation anyway. So, but yeah, 2D. I think 2D is harder because you can download and rig 3D model quite easily in Maya, but with drawing you need to have a strong foundation in anatomy before you can, represent things well on screen. So I would say 2D is harder in that respect. Like if James couldn't draw, there's no way he could fake a person unless he drew stick figures. You know what I mean? Or just animate some bouncing balls. What's what I meant? I was saying compared to the which usually has everything needed bundled in a single program to the discard. Again, 3D animation, if you're just using Maya, that covers a lot of bases with 3D animation. There isn't too many other ones that will, apart from maybe Blender, but then Blender's still relatively new to 3D animation. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I'm missing
Apparently,
who's moving
Logan
quite
Paul
fast
had a
now.
lot of guns. Shit.
Okay.
Shit.
Shit. Yeah, that's one of the main things that put me off working in the US was just the gun culture across there.
We love our guns here, man.
Yeah. I
I
just
don't
couldn't
have
imagine
any.
like one.
It's
Yeah.
fun, but I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. And considering I try to keep my political opinions to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what should be done about it. I'm just going to leave it at
Yes.
that.
The FBI has just raided his house. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I think if you have like too many or there's a limit, you can have as a civilian, you kind of have like an arsenal. Yeah, I think for me for the gun laws in America, the problem is like guns are just too easily accessible. Like in most countries that have really good gun laws, if you have guns, you have to go through a very rigorous process to get a gun, never mind like a machine gun. Like you can walk into Walmart in some places in America and just walk out with an M4.
That's the best way to do it, man. You just go to Walmart and you're like, "Hey, I need to shoot up a school. Can I have one of these?" And they're like, "Sure, sure. Go be my guest."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yeah, we haven't had any problems recently, so here, take this." I
Yeah.
actually had a kid in high school who was selling, or I knew a kid in high school who was selling guns, which is crazy. He's like, "You want to buy, you want to buy a gun?" I was like, "No, thanks."
Yeah, there was something like in 2019 there was like 490 shootings. Like in 1 year, I was like, oh my god.
But what, here in America?
Yeah, in 1 year, it was absolutely crazy. I think it was nearly 5 a month or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
That's because we're the
Although not,
best.
yeah, you're the best. Yeah, America.
Now, I do have a question, because it's interesting to me, how, like, in America, we don't pay attention to anything that's going on outside of America, but it seems like everywhere else in the world, everyone's paying attention to what America's doing.
I think because sometimes America does things that, we feel like we've already accomplished, like, gun laws that help people stay safe, equal rights for, gay marriage and people LGBT, equal rights for workers. Like we have a working time directive in Europe, so like people can't work more than 40 hours. Everybody has to be paid the same. Like we have a minimum wage. Like loads of stuff like that. That America, like your guys'
Gotcha.
healthcare is a fortune. It's no universal. It's
It's not
like,
great. I don't have insurance.
yeah, there's a load of things that we have. There's a really good Michael Moore, the documentarian? Like he done a really good movie called Where to Invade Next, where he went
Oh
all
yeah,
around
yeah.
Europe.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. So that was, yeah, Europe's had a lot of things fixed, but then we're an older continent also, because America's only about 400 years old, whereas Europe has existed, God, for thousands of years. So yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. A kid in my high school got arrested for carrying a shotgun in his trench coat. Jesus,
Oh fuck.
getting, getting guns is way too easy. Yeah, I agree. America is Texas to the rest of the world. I
That makes
mean,
sense.
in essence,
Getting guns is easy or not easy enough, right? You know what I mean?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because some states have an open carry law, right? So you can just walk about with a gun in a holster.
Yeah, not here in New York, but
Mhm.
yeah, some states definitely do.
Oh, here come the cops, James. They're coming for you.
Uh-oh. They're coming after me for threatening to shoot up a school. Um, yeah, there's definitely states that are just rolling around with all their guns.
Yeah, man. Uh, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That'll be interesting to see what happens with them with the guns and stuff, though. Because I mean, they've just went from one disaster to another. I don't know how they're going to cope with this one.
Yeah.
Because this might, yeah. Real random, but do you have any songs you can recommend, preferably in the rock genre? I've been listening to rap and electropop, and I want to expand my tastes.
Hmm.
Hmm. You know who I
Uh,
rediscovered the other night was Flyleaf. You ever
oh
heard
yeah,
of
they're
them?
pretty good. I remember
Yeah,
them.
like pretty good.
Just listen to everything by the Dillinger Escape Plan, and then your brain you'll be like, I never want to hear anything with guitars ever again.
Oh yeah, man. What was that song again? Milk something?
Oh, Milk Lizard. That's a great
Yeah.
one.
Oh my god, song's so good.
Yeah, that's a sick one.
It's funny when I actually discovered why they were called the Dillinger Escape Plan, because some guy called Dillinger was the only guy in history to escape Alcatraz or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Still waiting on a playlist. 2.5 years. I know it's been a while, hasn't it?
I was watching Ahmed Adori video and I switched to your stream. It almost feels like I'm watching the same guy. You two give a similar vibe.
It's almost as if he designed characters for this video. Not this character, but the robots. Yeah, I love it,
Yeah.
man.
I
And
think because well, you two probably have a very fond distinction to the foundations, like sketching and stuff.
yeah, he's also taught me a lot of stuff, so it makes sense that I would kind of start resembling his
Yeah.
style a little bit. Just don't want to do that too much. But yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think you and Ahmed have a similar style, but you have a uniqueness to your own stuff.
Cool, cool. Thank you. That's good. I don't want to just rip off Ahmed.
Nah. Well, I mean, Ahmed had to rip off someone else, so.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think it's possible to build a fantasy slash concept art scene in New York, Long Island? Well, I don't think it's possible to do anything on Long Island. I came from Long Island. It is the worst place ever. Nobody should live there. But maybe in New York City. Long Island is not the worst place ever. It's just a very unique place, and I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Was that the place? What's his name? He's on SNL. Tall actor. He was married to Ariana Grande.
What's his face? It's not where he's from. He's from Staten Island, but it's very
Right.
similar. Very similar.
Yeah, because he does a whole stand up about how Staten Island is like hell on earth. Like he's like that whole place could sink, and I would not give a fuck.
Yeah, no, that's basically Long Island and Staten Island have a very, very similar style, which is if you've ever seen the show The Jersey Shore, it's pretty much that.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's like My friend the other day, who's also from Long Island, he described it as everybody has a Lego job, construction, plumbing.
Oh,
I
okay.
just thought the analogy of a Lego job is really funny. But they all do like very, which is fine, but they all think they were like billionaires. So it's very strange, very like weird that way.
It's interesting how I've never been to New York, but as far as I've seen, like it is a state that has its own islands that float in the sea. Like there's Manhattan, there's Long Island, there's Staten Island. It's a very strange setup.
We got a lot of islands over here, man.
Hmm. I call my dick Long Island because it's a nightmare.
That's a good name for it, man.
The fuck? The Long Island accent was used to be a torture during Star.
Did you know that
Yeah, the accent.
the Long Island accent was actually deemed the least attractive accent in the entire country?
I don't know. Like I've heard some guys from Texas and stuff that, although a lot of people like that kind of country belle thing, don't they? The whole charm of the South.
There's an appeal to the South. Like sometimes
Everybody in Long
that Southern accent is
Yeah.
appealing. I don't think
Everybody
the
in Long Island
accent
mows
is
their own
ever
lawn
appealing.
every day.
Sorry, I'm talking
Yeah.
over you.
No, it's just hard because I'm not sitting next to you. But yeah, I was just reading that one that says everybody in Long Island mows their own lawn every day.
That's true. That is very true.
Funny tidbit, sorry, but Wang was talking about Eliza Evnova. She is awesome, but she was also one of my first guests on the podcast. If you scroll back through my channel, you'll find she was like my 10th interview or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
yeah. Sorry, James, you were saying.
I don't know what I was saying. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what I was saying. I honestly just go. Sometimes my thoughts just ramble on while I'm doing this, so it's more of just trying to be somewhat entertaining. Baltimore accents are hilarious. I'm not even that familiar with what the Baltimore accent sounds like.
Baltimore. I wonder where Baltimore is. Is that not Chicago? No. Not sure actually where Baltimore is.
The Texas accent is a lilting melody in your ear compared to the broken glass diarrhea of the Long Island accent. I've actively tried to get the accent out of my system, as I know many people from Long Island have as well, but I can't get rid of coffee.
Coffee.
There's a couple of them that we turn our A's into W's.
Man.
There's a couple of those Long Islandisms that just don't want to leave.
Oh yeah, Adam, the concept art scene in Scotland is small. There's not a lot of it, but there is some key guys over here that do really good work in some studios. We've got Rockstar over here who make Grand Theft Auto. Their studio is really good, and Axis Animation, who are in Glasgow, who do a lot of contract work for Blizzard and League of Legends, stuff like that. So they're the guys that I interned with in 2017. They were working on Destiny 2. So yeah, there's a small scene. It's not massive, but yeah. Koala Bear. Yeah, Geordie Shore, I've watched it. Yeah, Newcastle's it's its own experience, but yeah. Stream's been entertaining and informative with you guys. Keep it up. Thank you, William. I'm always glad to come on and chat with James. I live in Toronto and it's literally just New York but smaller, less cultured and cleaner.
I'm laughing at the last comment. Long, strong dogs lifting logs using. That's the most Long Island thing ever.
Long, strong dogs lifting logs using mechanisms made from cogs to lift. What is he saying that, like, if you say that in a Long Island accent, it sounds weird?
If you have somebody from Long Island say that, it all of the words sound incorrect. That's basically the point.
Okay.
Whenever I hear the Long Island accent, I think of a red-faced guy coarsely dropping racial epithets. Yeah, that sounds like an accurate description of it.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, Koala, Ubisoft's in Newcastle. Ubisoft Reflections. Yeah. I'm just about to put up an interview with an artist from there, funnily enough. Hannah Watts, 3D artist from there. So yeah, look out for that one. Maylander here. Marylander? Oh, you're from Maryland. Okay. Yeah. Whenever I hear the Long Island accent, I think about that video where the guy's like, "Anybody want some coffee?" meme. Oh yeah, there's that guy who runs about with the pot, and he's like, "You want some coffee? Hey guys, you want some? I just made a fresh pot. You want some coffee?"
I gotta see that. I haven't seen it, but it sounds accurate.
It's hilarious. It's like an actual guy from Long Island just like walking into stores and be like, "You guys want some coffee? I just made some."
I think I may get off the stream soon just because I want to get some dinner.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're hitting the hour mark, or well, hour and a half.
Yeah, that's been plenty. Tomorrow I can't stream. Maybe Friday there'll be another one, but try to get this tightened up. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed watching me sketch this little animated bit. Gonna get a cup of coffee, as we do here in Strong Island. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys all later. Take care. Peace out. Remember, if you're looking over on Twitch, be sure to follow. And if you want to watch these back, you can do so by subscribing on Patreon, or you can Strong Island subscribe over on Twitch. So thank you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Later, everybody.